¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
No matter your learning style or experience level, Babbel has lessons designed for you that will get you speaking quickly and confidently.
I tried learning Spanish before, but I couldn't stick with it until I found Babbel.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
I can't wait to use our new language skills on our upcoming adventures.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just text radio to 64,000 to start learning a new language today. That's radio to 64,000. RADIO to 64,000.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
We have a special gift for you. Now you can download podcasts of our shows. Listen whenever and wherever you want. It's all on demand. Just check out 969thegame.com/podcasts.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. Listen live on iHeartRadio. Now. No, seriously, do it now.
Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
It is time for some open mic on this Thursday morning. You're listening to Open Mic right here on 96.9 The Game, 96.9 on your FM dial. If you're one of the AM, if you're nostalgic sports talk radio listening, like I like it on the AM dial. Sounds nice and fuzzy. You know, it's got a weird sound to it. My kids can't stand it. We got that for you. 740, you can listen to us there. If you are the newest of technology fans, if you're in your office or cubicle, locked in, dialed in already at 6 a.m., you can find us on the World Wide Web at 969thegame.com. If you're even further advanced technologically, you can check us out on your OK Google or Alexa machines there by saying, hey, listen, OK Google, Alexa, I want to listen to 96.9 The Game. I want to listen to Open Mic there, and they're smart enough to find us. You can check us out there. And if you'd like to put some faces to the voices, you can do that as well. Go to our YouTube live stream. It is up and running right now. And if you can't find it there, go to Facebook, go to Twitter, and you will find links there. I am Adam Reardon in the captain's chair a couple more days as Mike Bianchi is on vacation. But fret not, Mike Bianchi fans. He will be on at 7:45 today. Across the glass from me, the smooth operator.
Oh, we in the building, baby. Yeah, Mike. Listen, Mike's not here. He'll be here at 7:45. But we have 2 more days, folks. 2 more days the kids are running rampant in the studio, okay?
I mean, almost literally, the kids are running, rampant in the studio. Listen, I'm a big fan of honesty. Okay.
Okay.
And not only is Kelly Velez the smooth operator, today Kelly Velez is the lifesaver. You are to this show what David Hasselhoff was to Baywatch. This morning, Kelly Velez saved my highly lucrative radio career. He went slow motion running out into the ocean. He saw somebody out there drowning. I actually recognized somebody was probably oversleeping is what happened.
Yeah, I had to take my shirt off on the way, too, just for the whole feel.
Slow motion.
Slow motion feel, pecs going up and down. I had to make sure everything was good.
Luckily for me, I'm not that I do it on purpose, not that I actually do this, but my clothes that I'm going to wear the next day, I don't lay them out per se, But
you know where they are.
Because I get up so early, I don't try to wake up my fiance, so I kind of take the clothes and I throw them on this little ottoman thing that's in the room with us.
I do the same thing.
So luckily for me, in the dark, I'm able to get up, get all my stuff. And what was I was in here in like 20 minutes.
That's it.
I was in here in like 20 minutes.
We prepped and everything, and then boom, here we are.
So you may not have even known. Like normally if Mike oversleeps, we keep that quiet because he's a pro. And I don't want anybody. I want you to know that Kelly Velez saved me today. I appreciate that.
Of course, that's what we're here for, baby. I couldn't do this without you.
Well, but yes, you could have, and you almost did. Kelly Velez behind the buttons, or behind the glass, pushing all the right buttons, including the phone buttons. Like, hey, dude, are you coming in? What's your deal today? That's what happened. Listen, I got invited out last night. Is what happened.
That's
really.
usually what happens.
And so I went, and I had a drink or two. And then I came home and I'm like put my head down, and I never set my alarm.
Listen,
never set the alarm. Shame on me.
It happens to all of us, man. It happened to me not too long ago. But it's like at the end of the day, you get up. Oh, you get like that quick feeling in your heart. Like, damn, okay.
Oh yeah.
But we got here. And we're doing it, baby.
I'm lucky. I'm one of those people. But as soon as my feet hit the ground and I get vertical, I'm awake. Boom. I'm good to go. So
no coffee, no nothing.
No coffee, no nothing. I can't wait to get to the water machine though, because I normally have a big old thing of water, but I don't have that right now. But I will remedy that situation. Speaking of situations in the world of sports, last night they were remedied. Some teams closed, some teams out in the NBA finals, and then in the NBA playoffs, and then we got some more drama in Los Angeles. People moved to LA for drama. Well, you got plenty of it on the NBA side. We'll start there. As a matter of fact, the Dallas Mavericks win Game 5. They go up 3-2 in that series. The Mavs on the brink of knocking out the Los Angeles Clippers. Here's how it went last night.
With 2:20 remaining. Backs up against man as they spread the floor. Shot clock at 6. Right corner, Porzingis for 3. Good! He knocked it down! And a timeout by Ty Lue!
So that right there, you go 3-2 up. How about this statistic?
Talk to me.
All the road teams have won in that series.
Yeah, I heard that yesterday, and I did not believe until I went back and really did the research. Yeah, it's straight road teams that are taking this right now.
You got the Dallas Mavericks now who have won 3 games on the road. They've lost both their home games, but they get to go back home now for Game 6. How huge is that? Listen, you got to just if you told the Dallas Mavericks, you just got to win 1 home game in this series and you'll advance.
Well, if you're a guy, if you're a history guy, you're going to say that the Clippers are going to win this next one, right? Because they're going to be in Dallas. But Luka scores 42 with 14 assists. Tim Hardaway Jr. left with 20 points, a lot of clutch shots. I don't know what it is about Luka, man. He just knows how to position his body. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he knows how to get to his spots, get those switches. If he wants a defender on him like Pat Bev or something like that, he'll get it. And he just takes advantage of it, man. Drops 42 in this win against the Clippers.
It's unbelievable. So now the Clippers and the Lakers both are on the brink of elimination in the first round of the playoffs. LeBron, Kawhi, playoff P.
Backs to the wall, guys.
Anthony Glass Davis, all these guys that were sort of, over the last, 2 years, 2 years, we're talking about, these two teams are going to play in the NBA or the Western Conference. It's an LA team that's coming out because of LeBron and Kawhi. There is I would say a strong possibility. Both these guys have to lead their teams to 2 straight wins in the playoffs to advance. There is a strong possibility that the NBA playoffs in the Western Conference is going to consist of the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz. Mm-hmm. And not have Kawhi and LeBron. I'll say this about the NBA, whose numbers have been down. We have all sports numbers. Is the last thing that they want are Western Conference playoffs without Kawhi and without LeBron in it.
Wait, Utah?
Yes.
Fun fact about yesterday, too, which is incredible about the Mavericks. Literally, Tim Hardaway and Luka were the only players in double digits. For the Clippers, I think all the starting 5 had double digits. So I've never seen that before in my life.
Only 2 guys in double digits
only
and they won?
2 guys and they won.
That's amazing. Speaking of Utah and closing things out, there's a lot of closeout games in the NBA playoffs. Utah Jazz, the number 1 seed in the West, they advanced.
Donovan, big strides into the lane, switches left to right, floats the right-hander up and in. Taylor Jenkins takes the final timeout of the series. The white flag will come up, and the Jazz lead by 20 with 2:47 left.
Yeah, they knock out the Memphis Grizzlies. Good young team, but listen, the number 1 seed does what the number 1 seed needs to do, and that's advance. Again, if you're looking at the NBA playoffs and you look over there and you go, wait a minute, we went this entire NBA season and LeBron and Kawhi those guys are the face of the NBA.
Yeah.
But the number 1 seed out west is Utah. I can name like 2 guys on the entire Utah team.
I mean, their role players do exactly what they need to do. You have Donovan Mitchell, one of the greatest scorers in the game right now, and also, 6th man of the year, Jordan Clarkson, who scored 24 off the bench. Donovan had 30 and 10, so they just did what they had to do to close this series out.
I heard you guys on the bridge yesterday talking about Dame Lillard and will he have to go somewhere else to win an NBA title? I mean, Donovan Mitchell's one of those guys that's such a great scorer, but I guess if you're the number 1 seed in the West, you don't really have to go somewhere else.
Not yet.
I'd imagine if I were an NBA player, I'd like to win a title somewhere other than like Salt Lake City, Utah. It doesn't seem like that'd be a great place to be a great player.
He's like, where do I go from here?
Yeah, but you're the number 1 seed in the West. How about the Atlanta Hawks? I'm sorry, we have to bring this up. It's our duty.
It's okay.
The Atlanta Hawks knock out your New York Knicks.
Trae Young dribbling up top. Trae backs up, shoots the 3. Bang! Trae Young with a clutch 3-pointer.
Not much you can do, man. Not much you can do.
I'm going to get into this maybe a little bit heavier and get people's opinion on this. And maybe this could be our spontaneous. Let this be the spontaneous text question of the day.
Spontaneous text question of the day.
I believe we may be looking at the greatest trade in NBA history.
Oh, that's a bold statement.
Luka Doncic for Trae Young. What was that, on draft night, right?
I think it was. They traded up, no?
Well, they just flip-flop guys, and I'm sure they got something else. Somebody got something else on the backside. But when you look at Trae Young and you look at Luka Doncic, I believe they were traded on draft night for each other. I mean, there's no way to look at that and go like, oh, well, this team got the better end of that deal.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, is there a more
like a better trade-off?
Better trade. I mean, there's never been a better barter than that. I took my grandfather to the dentist yesterday, and it cost a lot of money. And I said, well, it was probably great way back in the day that there was like medical personnel that used to barter their wares with like a farmer, where you could trade like 3 ears of corn and a bushel of fruit for your dental services.
Right.
It don't work like that anymore. Nowadays, the dentist is up here, the farmer guy is way down here,
Correct.
and never the twain shall meet. So I was talking about bartering. Well, in that trade, who won that trade? Nobody wins that trade. That means it's a great trade.
Yeah.
Is that the greatest trade-off you've ever seen in sports?
It may be. Off the top of my head, I can't think of too many. We're going to have to do our research, but that's a very good point that you bring up.
All right, real quick, the 76ers, they closed out their series over the Washington Wizards as well last night.
Simmons with it to Harris, fakes on Gafford, drives it, runner with the right hand, and in, and that'll do it. The Sixers are leading by 21.
Yeah.
Without Embiid.
Yeah, without Embiid. So we discussed, what is their potential without Embiid. Okay, listen, you get past round 1 without your best player. It's going to get more difficult in round number 2 and as you continue to advance. So I think they're going to need Embiid back, but they didn't need him last night against the Washington Wizards.
Right.
And then finally, okay, I brought up the Knicks, so let me bring up your New York Yankees as they win 2 in a row over Mike Bianchi's Tampa Bay Rays.
And the pitch swung on and drilled to deep right. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Gio Urshela goes the opposite way.
That's right.
He went the opposite way.
Opposite way.
Which we know is much more difficult to do than just going the normal way. We tell our kids that. Your life's going to be a lot harder for you if you choose that path.
Listen,
it's the opposite way.
The Yankees are just a couple games behind, man. We catching up.
A couple games. So was that? That puts you, 3.5 games back?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We getting it.
Hot on the heels now. Hot on the heels of the Tampa Bay Rays. Hey, coming up on the other side of the break, Mike Krzyzewski announced yesterday that he is going to step away after this upcoming season in college basketball. Obviously an icon in our sports lifetime, my sports lifetime. Probably no other coach more recognizable than Coach K. We will discuss, will we ever see anything like his tenure at Duke ever again in the world of sports? Can we possibly see it in this day and age of big, big business? We'll discuss that coming up next. You're listening to Open Mic right here on The Game.
Hey, this is Frank Caliendo, pretend to be
Mike Krzyzewski is going to hang him up. Well, hang him up. What do you hang up as a coach? I mean,
your tie? You're gonna put your tie up there?
You got to hang up your tie, clipboard, and practice whistle. Let me say this in the world of coaching. No coach wears a whistle anymore.
No. Hanging up the high blood pressure, I'll tell you that much. You don't got to run up and down the course screaming no more.
Yeah, well, I mean, he'll find something to scream at, I'm sure. So this year is going to be his last. Do you like the swan song year for people who retire?
I like it for people who 1,000% deserve the swan song year, you know? Remember when Paul Pierce did his? It didn't go as well as he thought it would. Like Kobe, he got a beautiful swan song that season. The whole season, people were celebrating him. The last time he would be in the arenas, right?
Yeah.
Every time you get in, the crowd is crazy. Paul Pierce is just like, eh. Now Coach K, this is different. This is legendary.
I mean, like even the last time he coaches in the Dean Dome, if they still call it that, at North Carolina, UNC, like he's gonna get he'll get a standing ovation from the Carolina crowd, right?
I feel like he has to, right?
Well, I mean, it has to.
He's garnered that respect. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's out of just respect.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and see what was the last time that Dean Smith went through Cameron, and did they show him some love?
That's a good point.
That'll probably dictate on whether or not this guy gets some love at Carolina.
You also made a good point yesterday. We were talking about, Dan Mullen and all the people, getting additions onto their contracts and saying, how difficult it was for somebody to replace someone like Billy Donovan. Think about the person that's going to replace Coach K.
John Shire, former player and assistant coach, is going to take over, and he's had a ton of former players move on to be college basketball coaches, including Johnny Dawkins right here at UCF. I'm sure UCF fans go, yeah, oh, good. All right, they've already named a successor. Woo.
Yeah.
Shoo. Thank goodness.
Like right out the gate, too.
Yeah, so, God, they have Wojciechowski, I think, as a coach.
Woj bombs. Woo!
No, different Woj. different Woj. Tommy Amaker, he coached at Michigan, coached at Harvard, too, I think. Then you have Johnny Dawkins. I mean, just a bunch of guys. Bobby Hurley, I think. Bobby Hurley went on and coached college basketball as well. There's just so many different names that could have ended up in that job, but they have John Shire right now has been announced as his successor. So they'll do a whole year of probably transitioning there. But Mike Krzyzewski is going to get a well-deserved swan song in the college basketball ranks. And in my lifetime, probably barring none, he has been the most synonymous to me with a team. The only thing that comes close would be Bobby Bowden in my lifetime, because I grew up in the state of Florida watching college football.
Right.
And so Bobby Bowden's probably the closest thing. And I think for people older than me, people from up north, they'd say Joe Paterno. But these things don't happen anymore. Guys that end up at a program, sort of build a program up, and then stay through their existence.
Right.
It just doesn't happen anymore.
I mean, you and Mike are much better than I when it comes to having the stats off the top of your head. But when it comes to Coach K's resume, he has 5 national titles, 12 Final Four appearances, 12 ACC regular season titles, 15 ACC tournament championships, most wins ever with 1,170. That's a GOAT right there, man.
No, I mean, in college basketball, there is no other. Okay, I take that back. John Wooden. Somebody older than me is going to go, you're forgetting about John Wooden. You're forgetting about John Wooden. I'm sure when John Wooden retired, somebody said, will we ever see this again? The answer was yes. But I sense that the answer is no now, because the business is different. The business is different. I'm trying to think of a guy that would stay somewhere this long in this day and age, go through the ups and downs. Mike always points to like Leonard Hamilton's run at FSU and how FSU is, reaping the rewards of sticking with him through like 7 years of not making the NCAA tournament. And now FSU, one of the top 10 basketball programs in the country. At Duke, like through the first 3 years, they weren't having success. And they stuck with Mike Krzyzewski, and then now the rest, as they say, is history. In this day and age of high profitability when it comes to a couple of the sports that we have in college, in college football and men's basketball, being good and being good early is so important that I don't think a guy could have 3 or 4 or 5 subpar, substandard years and survive that in the first place.
Yeah.
Let alone become great
True.
and stick around. So that angle is one thing. And then the other part is this. As soon as you get good somewhere, somebody else wants you. Somebody else wants you. And in this day and age, there is a wallet, there is a price for everyone. Brad Stevens, who we're going to talk about a little bit later on in the show. Look at the job he did at Butler, right? And then the NBA comes calling. I just suspect that we will never see anything again like we're seeing from Mike Krzyzewski. And some people go, well, look at what Nick Saban's doing at Alabama. And look at Nick Saban before Alabama. Was at LSU, built a national championship there, and then took the NFL money.
Right.
You know, Mike Krzyzewski, I think maybe flirted with other opportunities, but never did take them. The only time I really remember Mike Krzyzewski being gone is when he had his back surgery, had back issues. And then we realized how important Mike Krzyzewski was to that program because, as I say, he missed the NCAA tournament that year. But we'll never see anything like that again. I don't think.
No, I see what you're saying 1,000%.
In two different ways. Yeah. I think, one, nobody's going to get the opportunity to fail early because it's so important in college sports now to be good at football and to be good at basketball. And then on the other side, if you're really successful, who sticks around a program forever?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't happen anymore.
Either you want those NBA dollars, you want a different opportunity.
Billy Donovan's another example of a guy that came from Marshall, probably could have spent 50 years at Florida, making Florida the next Duke. But then you get worn out. Maybe college is more stressful. Being a college coach is more stressful today than it was 40 years ago. So it doesn't put that. So it wasn't putting a wear and tear on you on Mike Krzyzewski 40 years ago the way it puts it on you now with every game being on TV, the TV contracts, the pressure. We'll just never see it again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure somebody said that about after John Wooden stepped away. We'll never see a coach this successful in college basketball ever again. Well, we did. It was Mike Krzyzewski. I'm just saying now, things have changed so much in the world of college sports financially, with the TV money, with the pressure that goes along with it, that we'll never see anything like this. And with respect to college football, we'll never see anything like Bobby Bowden and Joe Paterno again. There isn't a young coach that's going to take a job at a school and stay there for 30 years. It just isn't happening. Just not going to happen in the world of sports anymore. Well, here's the other part. Is after 15 years, you've already made more money in 15 years than those guys would have ever made way back when. Yeah. So you're already financially. There is no reason to continue to grind through.
And also with Coach K, the USA basketball gig too. He's done it on so many levels. So, like you said, I honestly don't see that happening either, especially with just the climate we're in today. It's about that money, man. A lot of people don't want to stay. They don't have like that pride of building it from the foundation up. So, we're saying it now, like you said. We'll never see it again, and then it happens. So we'll see. But
it ain't going to happen because, listen, the idea of the pride of building something up from the ground floor, you're not afforded that opportunity very often anymore. Because if you don't get the first few stories built quickly, they want a different construction company, and they want to fire the foreman, and they'll do that fast in the world of college sports. Whereas I think way back when it was probably a little bit more, let's see how it goes, guys. We'll see how it goes. Coming up on the other side of the break, we'll get back into some college sports. The College Football Hall of Fame announced. I think I saw 2 Canes on there. I'll tell you who else made the cut for the College Football Hall of Fame. Coming up next, you're listening to Open Mic right here on The Game.
Open Mic with Mike Bianchi.
Skill level that he has is certainly John Elway-like.
We'll be back right after this.
I have found the perfect weekend beach getaway for all my fellow Orlandoans. I'm talking about Hard Rock Hotel, Daytona Beach. This place is awesome. Just an hour's drive from downtown Orlando, but it's like you're driving into a Caribbean resort. There's a spa on site. There's a health club on site. The beach is right in front of you. They have a resort pool with bars and restaurants overlooking the pool and the ocean. They have a DJ during the day that makes the pool experience festive and fun. They have a band shell at night with live music. Again, just a great time. Do what I did. Come relax in paradise. Check them out. HardRockHotels.com/Daytona Beach. HardRockHotels.com/Daytona Beach.
Don't spend more than you have to on your mobile service. Spectrum Mobile could save you up to 40% versus what you're paying now. And nationwide 5G is included in every data plan. Plus, Spectrum delivers the fastest overall speeds and has the most reliable mobile service, coast to coast, with no hidden taxes, fees, or contracts. Visit SpectrumMobile.com today. 40% savings based on a comparison of single-line comparable unlimited plans amongst major national carriers as of 1/27/2021. Fastest overall speed, most reliable, based on Nielsen speed test, latest FCC report, and route metrics.
Okay, my shipments have to get to customers on time and looking good.
It's possible with Staples Connect. Staples Connect has small business shipping covered with premium shipping supplies, custom labels, and UPS shipping services. And now, buy 2, get 1 free on decorative shipping supplies. Plus, get 20% off UPS Express shipping services. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. N73, visit staplesconnect.com/shipping for details.
CVS is offering free health services at select locations. Get free professional screenings and consultations with no appointment necessary. Visit cvs.com/Project Health for details and to find an event near you.
It's time for some straight talk. You've got real work to do, but everyone's sucking up the free Wi-Fi faster than a Mocha Choco double frap on ice. So be your own hotspot. Now with Straight Talk Wireless, get 10 gigs of hotspot data with the ultimate unlimited plan. Just $55 a month on America's largest and most dependable networks. You don't have to find a hotspot. You are the hotspot. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you're on a network you can't trust, then your data is limited, and so are you. Get unlimited and save with Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on 5G from the network more Americans depend on, with 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at authorized dealers. 5G capable device and SIM required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
Sunnyside Plumbing.
Oh boy, my toilet's backing up. There's water.
The most improved plumbing company as voted by the readers of Faucet magazine.
Great, my toilet's backing up.
How may I direct your call?
Toilet problems.
For plumbing, press 1. Fine. If this is not urgent and can be put off until later, press 1.
Gotta be kidding.
If you need help sooner than that, press 2.
Yes, now.
Guess what? Both of our plumbers are busy.
This is a disaster.
But your call is tremendously important to us.
This would never happen with Frank Gay.
Wait, you didn't call Frank Gay.
Well...
Did you?
But I didn't think...
That's right. You didn't think.
I'm calling Frank Gay.
When you have plumbing or drain problems, you need help now. A live operator to take your call. Licensed, trained plumbers ready to help today. And your problem fixed fast. That's the Frank Gay way.
Should have called Frank Gay in the first place. That's the Frank Gay way.
FrankGayServices.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course we can help you find the right oil for your next change. We've got what your car's engine needs. Right now you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $28.99. And you can get it all fast your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
At LASIK Plus, we literally have thousands of 5-star reviews. Our patients love the service LASIK Plus provides and the outcomes. So we decided to check in on some of our reviewers. Hi, are you Sarah_34?
Yeah?
I'm from LASIK Plus, and we just wanted to thank you for giving LASIK Plus a 5-star review.
Oh, they were great. I got a customized treatment plan, and they just made it all so easy. My neighbor was right. LASIK Plus is the best.
Oh, so your neighbor was a patient too?
Yeah, Frank.
Frank Doggy Dog 778?
Maybe.
He's our next stop.
At LASIK Plus, we're offering $750 off LASIK. That's $375 off per eye for those treated in June. Visit mylasicoffer.com. LASIK Plus, the patient's choice for LASIK. Must mention this promotion and be treated in June of 2021 to qualify. $750 off for both eyes on standard Wavelight price. $375 off for one eye. Cannot be combined with any other offers. See details at mylasicoffer.com.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with these hot items for dads and grads. Featuring the new Callaway Epic Woods and Apex irons with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. And don't miss these hot gifts from Bushnell, like the Tour V5 or the Tour V5 Shift with pin seeker technology, or the Wingman with Bluetooth and audible GPS for distance. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
From the Airflow Designs Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center.
This report is sponsored by Discover.
Good Thursday morning. It's Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Kristen Giannis here with your forecast. So a warm start. We're waking up to the 70s. This afternoon, it's going to be hot. 90 degrees in Orlando. Along the coast, solid mid and upper 80s. Winds out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Keeping that rain chance at 50%. Scattered showers. Some stronger thunderstorms possible after 2 p.m. Our main concerns will be heavy rain, lightning, and some strong wind gusts. Tonight, dropping down to the low 70s. Mostly cloudy skies. I hope you're having a great start to your day in the Fox 35 Storm Center. I'm meteorologist Kristen Giannis.
Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. It's amazing because Discover is accepted at 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
You love your teams, and you've got plenty to say about them. Text us your thoughts to the Academy Sports and Outdoors text line at 50857. Let your fingers do the talking.
Real fast before we get into the College Football Hall of Fame nominees, guys, first of all, almost all of them deserve to be in. I'm like reading down the names and I'm going, well, why wouldn't that guy be in? Why wouldn't that guy be in? Okay, this guy, if you're going to keep anybody out, it had to be this guy. Get into those. But got a tweet, a really good tweet from at Professor B 57, Brian UCF. Says, Adam, what about Jay Wright at Villanova, Mark Few at Gonzaga, and then Gino Auriemma as coaches that are going to have this long tenure? And Gino, right off the bat, I go, yeah, he's one of them. Jay Wright feels like he could be that guy, and then Mark Few has proven a bunch of times he's turned down other jobs. So yes, those guys could be in this. Mike Krzyzewski, I was there, I built it from scratch, and I spent my entire career in that place. Those guys can get. Really kind of what I meant was nobody who was hired in the last 5 years or so, 5 to 10 years, I don't believe will have this kind of run in college sports
someone
anymore.
That doesn't have that long of a tenure
they're
yet.
They're sort of already grandfathered in because these guys are all like halfway there already. And I think in the case of Gino, I don't know how long Gino's been at UConn, but it feels like he's been there forever.
Yeah, how long has Jay been at
Jay Wright's been at Villanova he's been there for a little bit of a stretch too. I mean, so these are great, names. What I was really talking about is, guys that are going to have been hired in the last 5 years and also anybody who's hired in the next 5 years. And they're not going to have this kind of. I just think the pressure's too much. The pay is too high. And why stick around someplace 35? How long was Mike Krzyzewski at Duke?
I don't even want to look that stat up.
I'm 43.
20 plus?
I'm 43 and 20 plus. I'm 43 and Mike Krzyzewski was at Duke when I was like 12.
Googling this right now.
That's 30 years. And when I was 12, I think he won his first national championship.
Oh, my good Lord. 41 seasons.
Listen, nobody coaches Division I men's college basketball for 41 seasons.
Wow.
Like, even if I said 20 seasons, 20 seasons at the same school, I think Mark Few may be getting close to that.
His overall record, 1,097 and 302.
40. How many years? 40 years? 41?
41 years. About to be 42.
Literally, he's been at Duke.
That's nuts.
Like,
That's true. When you put it like that, I didn't even think about that.
He's been at Duke since I've been wearing underoos. I think that's a.
He's been there my whole life. That's crazy to think about.
He literally has been there as long as you've been 10 toes down, dude. He's been at Duke. It's unbelievable. I mean, you will never see that ever again.
I was gonna say, even that stat right there makes me believe, and I'm more inclined to say that it's not gonna happen. 40 years?
40 years is a long time to be anywhere. You'll be lucky to be on this earth for 40 years, let alone in the same job, and then have the same success that he's had at Duke. All right, let me turn my attention to the world of college football. The college football nominees. All right, normally when you have nominees, there's a list of 5, 10, maybe 15. You know how many nominees that the College Football Hall of Fame throws at you?
How many?
There are 99 players and 33 coaches from all the divisional ranks. The ballot was emailed Wednesday to more than 12,000 National Football Foundation members and current Hall of Famers whose votes will be tabulated and submitted to the NFF's Honors Court, which will deliberate and select the class.
Sheesh.
Inductees for this class will be announced in early 2022. Let me give you some names. You got your dinger and your buzzer ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Reggie Bush from USC, Heisman Trophy. First of all, if you win a Heisman Trophy, this is the College Football Hall of Fame. Somebody said that in that year, you're the best player in the country. You're in the Hall of Fame. You win a Heisman Trophy, there's no discussion. You just automatically get in. So we can scratch these guys off. If you win a Heisman Trophy, there's no reason why you should be omitted from the College Football Hall of Fame because you were the best player in college football, at least for 1 year.
That's fair.
Andrew Luck, who didn't win a Heisman Trophy, but I think he finished second twice.
He was a hell of a player in college, man. And, in the NFL too, but he wanted to do what he had to do.
All right, here's a guy. Oh, man, please.
Talk to me.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Listen, I want Marshawn Lynch to be a part of everything. All right?
You understand, how much more entertaining the College Football Hall of Fame ceremony is going to be when Marshawn pulls up?
Marshawn Lynch.
And a Zamboni or something?
Well, Marshawn Lynch, who played at Cal, there's probably not a lot of people remember Marshawn Lynch's college football career because he didn't play at USC, he didn't play at Michigan, played at Cal. But we all know that video of him driving the trainer's golf cart around. When he gets inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, I want him to pull up on that.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to be whipping.
On that. Oh, man, it's still one of the funniest videos. Other notable names, first-time FBS players listed in the ballot include Sean Alexander, running back from Alabama, LeVar Arrington.
One of my favorite players from my day.
Eric Berry, who was a tremendous safety at Tennessee.
I'm just going to belt everything because all these guys
how are these guys not in? Michael Crabtree. Okay, Sylvester Croom, and I'm wondering if now I want to say that Sylvester Croom, and I could be wrong in this. I think he's the first African American coach in the SEC.
See him, I'm not too familiar on.
So and I'm wondering if that's Warwick. How is Warwick Dunn not in the Hall of Fame already?
That's nuts.
Toby Gerhardt. When I was reading names, I go okay, when you put Toby Gerhardt's name to me next to some of these other names, yeah.
I forgot about Toby Gerhardt.
He's good. He's good college football player. Graham Harrell, who played at Texas Tech, put up 1 billion numbers.
Yes.
Let me see. Jeremy Maclin.
Wow.
Kellen Moore, who is the quarterback at Boise State. I think the winningest quarterback in the history. Okay, the last one I'm going to get to, and there was a couple of hurricanes. Peter Warwick, I think, is a first time. That's a no-brainer. Here's some names that aren't in yet. Champ Bailey.
Wow.
Marvin Harrison, Tony Gonzalez, Julius Peppers, and Rashawn Salam, who's a Heisman Trophy winner, are holdovers from previous years.
That's nuts.
Coaches Larry Coker guided Miami to the most recent national championship in 2001. He's on the ballot for the first time. And let me say this. Do not put Larry Coker in. As a Miami Hurricane fan, listen, he was the babysitter. He was the chaperone. If you ever watched if you've ever watched the U documentary, Ed Reed, I saw that Ken Dorsey's also on the ballot. Ed Reed and Ken Dorsey should go in as the coach of that 2001 team, not Larry Coker. Just saying. Hey, coming up on the other side of the break, we'll get back into the NBA playoffs. I want to mention that Luka and Trae Young trade. I kind of did a little more research, and I recognize that somebody may have gotten the better end of that deal, but great trades in sports history. You'd be hard-pressed to find one where both teams made out the way that these teams have with their superstars, franchise players delivering in the playoffs. We'll talk a little bit about that trade and more. Coming up next, you're listening to Open Mic right here on The Game.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Yeah. More Open Mic in minutes. iHeart radio station.
All right, 6:52 back on Open Mic. What song is that?
I don't know. It's a random one.
It's like just some song we have in the machine over here. I was like, wait a minute, what is that?
This is the royalty-free.
Oh,
version,
that's
all right?
royalty. Normally, the royalty-free doesn't have lyrics. I mean, that guy's like, will work for exposure.
He said, no problem. Y'all could have this one.
There you go. This one's free to you folks out there. You know, it's not free. We had a nice little trade in the NBA during draft night, and the NBA does this weird thing on draft night where if you're going to trade pick, you have to make the pick and then swap the guys, and then you get this picture of Adam Silver standing next to Trae Young wearing a Mavericks hat, and then Luka Doncic wearing like an Atlanta Hawks hat, and then they flip flop the hat. Like,
it's cute, you know. It's cute. It's not like you could like literally trade picks like the NFL. You literally have to do the draft.
Why can't you?
It's weird, right?
It's stupid.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb that they do it that way, but it is what it is. And I was thinking, like fast forward now, what, 3 years? Both teams end up with a franchise player. By the way, the team that on draft night maybe made out a little bit better, at least numbers wise, was the Hawks, because they ended up with Young, who I guess is the 5th pick, but they got another first-round pick from the Mavericks, which they took Cam Reddish with. So they got a second first-round pick, and their GM, I was reading this article, he says, I kind of take a baseball approach. The more swings you get at these lottery players, the more chances you have to get a hit.
It's true.
So that's fine. But I just look at these two guys and said, listen, if you trade these guys on draft night, which one of these two teams goes back today and goes, with the guy that they have right now in their organization, the way he's connected with the community, which one of these teams goes back and goes, oh, I'd love to do that over again. I really would want the other guy back. Because with all due respect to Luka Doncic and what he's done in Dallas, and now what Trae Young's doing in Atlanta, I think both teams go, I like our guy right where we're at.
Yeah.
And it may be the greatest trade in the history of sports, where both teams get what they want, get what they paid for, get what they bartered for, and both teams are happy. I'm sitting there thinking the only really other draft night trade that pops into my mind, it makes my head go, oh, I remember that night when they traded for that guy, is when the LA Lakers traded Vlade Divac for a kid named Kobe Bryant.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, because Kobe was drafted by what, the Charlotte Hornets?
By the Hornets, yeah. That's right.
But they traded, and I'm sure there must have been some draft. I'd have to go back and really research that trade. That better have had hindsight being 20. Hindsight being 20. It doesn't matter how many draft picks the Lakers also traded to Charlotte. It wasn't worth it. They got the better end of that trade.
And I'm looking it up here, and the Mavs came up again in '98 when the Bucks drafted Dirk, and he was traded to the Mavericks for Tractor Trailer.
So
it's crazy.
I think that's one where the Mavericks would go, we probably should have kept Dirk Nowitzki. Heck, the Bucks were like, dude, we had Giannis before Giannis. We had the tall European guy that can ball.
Yep.
But we traded him away. So that's not a good trade. That's not a great trade. It's a good trade for somebody, but not a great trade for the other guy. I literally, this is somebody will have to text into the program or shoot me a tweet. You can text the program at 50857. You can give us a call 407-916-8255. And tell me if you can think of a trade where both teams made out the way that these two teams have. They both have franchise players. They both have guys that I think fit the community well.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about Luka Doncic the other day and why he works in Dallas so well. Is because Luka Doncic is a European basketball player who is a tremendous talent. And folks in Dallas have already had that.
Yeah.
And so it's not like, I can't pronounce this guy's last name. It's hard for me to relate to this. Dirk Nowitzki carried them to a title over LeBron, by the way, in the Big Three. So, I mean, it feels like the next Dirk Nowitzki in that town.
But to tell you, what you're saying is true because I can tell you as a Knicks fan, when they drafted, say, Danilo Gallinari, people were like, who's Gallinari? Porzingis?
Yes.
Who is this? I don't understand what's going on. And the Mavs have already been down that road.
It sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
It sort of makes sense.
You think about it, it would be the perfect place for him to go, period, especially as a young European player.
Yeah.
Coming straight to the league for the first time.
I'm telling you that looking at that trade there, and I think Trae Young in Atlanta and that youth movement there and for a franchise, I'm trying to think about when was the last time the Hawks were good. Are we talking about Dominique Wilkins? I mean, is that the last? I mean,
they were running with like Josh Smith, but I don't think it was to that point. That
yeah,
super crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, look, they're advancing in the playoffs.
And by the way, on the text line, you can text us in right now 50857. Bring up a good point. Penny Hardaway for C-Web.
Oh, that's a good one.
So that happened in '93 when the Magic traded C-Web to the Warriors for Penny.
That was on draft night as well.
Yeah.
That was on draft night as well. That's a good one, and that's close to home. Maybe I should have remembered that one.
It's a good one.
Who? At the end of the day,
I'm telling you, I'm looking this up right now, and all of them are like either flip flops or that's a very
that's
good one.
That's probably the closest one.
Yeah.
But it never. But here's probably where this loses its chance to be, is that Penny wasn't the franchise guy here in Orlando.
Well, at the time.
Well, yeah, no. That's but what I'm saying is that he and then he just, I don't think he ever became a franchise guy anywhere because they had Shaq here. Mm-hmm. And so where it's a little different for me, these are the cornerstones of the organization now.
Okay, now you're moving the goalpost.
Oh, am I moving the goalpost? It's a great trade, though. Honestly, at the end of the day, listen. At the end of the day, that's a really good one.
They had to be franchise players. Been here for 10 years.
It's a great trade.
Those are the only ones we're talking about today.
And it made perfect sense. I mean, listen, you had Shaq. What did you need a power forward for? You didn't need one. So you got yourself a guard, Penny Hard. That's a great trade. Honestly, that one is up there with it. I don't know what the New York Yankees traded to the Boston Red Sox to get Babe Ruth way back in the day, but it wasn't worth it, Boston. I'm sorry. Matter of fact, it came with a curse, apparently.
The curse of the Bambino.
Came with a curse. All right, 10-second. Let's take a 10-second pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. We are football. We are FM 96.9, The Game.
I got a private DM as well, Penny and Chris Webber. But here's my point is this. You ain't going to be able to come up with a lot because normally in any trade, in any barter, in any deal, somebody gets the better end of it.
Yeah.
Very rarely can you look up and say, man, that trade really worked out well for everybody involved. Heck, I guess hindsight being 20. Well, I mean, this was like a 3-team trade. Let's not get into 3-team trade. I don't want to move those goalposts. I don't want to be a part of all that.
Here we go.
But you brought up Dirk Nowitzki for Robert Tractor Trailer.
Yeah.
I'm sure at the time that seemed like a good idea. Tractor Trailer played at Michigan. Dirk Nowitzki was coming over from Europe. And they're like, well, we don't know much about this guy.
Get him out of here.
Turns out that's a pretty good deal for Dallas in that one. Are you looking up something that's like greatest trades of all time?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which ones. There's another one, 2011, when the Pacers traded the draft rights for Kawhi Leonard, Bertans over to the Spurs for George Hill. George Hill was okay back in the day.
Oh, come on now. We're talking about Kawhi.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just giving you different ones.
Yeah.
The Supersonics traded Ray Allen and Glenn Davis to Boston for Jeff Green, Delonte West, Wally Zerbiak.
No, normally, listen.
You may be right, man. That Luka and Trey.
Luka and Trey. To me, I'm watching, and it's early. Okay, I mean, injuries and all kinds of things can happen. There's no question about it. But it feels like both teams got a guy that they wanted and a guy that panned out for them. And I think the only thing that's close and that I would agree is in that realm, at least to this point, somebody can name me a trade that happened much, much earlier in life, is right here in Orlando. I mean, that was the year that the Magic missed the playoffs after Shaq came over and had one ping pong ball in the machine. One ping pong ball, and it comes up, and they get the number 1 pick in the draft.
Crazy.
And they use it to take Chris Webber, but then they trade it for Penny Hardaway. I wonder what else they got in that deal. So the Magic would have probably gotten the better end of that deal because there's no way you trade.
No, 1,000%. In my opinion.
Yeah. And was Penny more impactful in the NBA than Chris Webber, or was that about the same? I really, when I think about both guys,
it sucks for Penny because those injuries, man. If those injuries didn't happen, of course his trajectory would have been much higher.
God, Chris Webber's part of some really good teams in Sacramento.
That Sacramento team, though, yeah. In my opinion, I think I will put C. Webb up above him just a little bit.
That his career was better than Penny Hardaway's.
Yeah, but that doesn't say anything about Penny's ceiling when it comes to him being an athlete and a basketball player. He just happened to get injured.
No question about it. So
I feel the same way about different subject, but Brandon Roy, like an incredible player, but once that knee goes out, once you get those injuries,
I mean, that league, there's no question about it.
Now, did you want to talk football with this as well? Because we're getting some football.
Sure, yeah. Any sport. If you've got a football trade for me, I will compare apples to oranges all day long.
Yes, Eli for Rivers, for Phillip Rivers, the biggest swap they're saying.
That's a really good one too. Because Eli was not going to play in San Diego. I don't know I'm trying to think.
See, now I'm looking up NFL draft.
What did the Denver Broncos have to give up to get John Elway, or did John Elway end up going back into the draft? I don't remember how that worked out.
We're gonna have to look that one up.
But at the end of the day, I mean, the Broncos got the better end of that deal. But no, Eli but I'll say this: that though Eli has the Super Bowl titles, I mean, statistically speaking, Phillip Rivers had a better career than Eli Manning. But you look at Super Bowls, and that,
I will give you that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm watching two guys right now in the NBA, which, I make no mistake about it. I'm a LeBron guy, but I recognize that LeBron James, in his 17th year in the league, 18, whatever long he's been playing, for as many years as he's been playing, for how hard he's been playing, for as deep in the playoffs as he's gone. The NBA is about to find themselves in that space that they don't have a face of the NBA. They're going to have faces of the NBA, and I don't know that that's great for you to not have the one. Like, when you turn on these shows in the morning.
No, well, continue.
Well, you think that there's a face of the NBA coming up?
Well, I feel like if LeBron's not here, it's going to be Steph. And I'm sure when Steph goes, there's going to be another one. I feel like there's always one superstar that just is incredible in every generation. So that one person is going to become the face. It's just different now because we've spoke about this before. We have so many superstars in the league that put up incredible numbers on a nightly basis. But that doesn't mean we're not going to have one specific face of the franchise.
So
the NBA.
Do you agree that right now there is no question? LeBron is the face of the NBA.
Yeah.
So here's my issue with Steph. What if the Warriors' run is done? Can you be the face of the NBA on a bad NBA team?
I mean, look at LeBron now. Like, the Lakers aren't that.
Yeah, that's injury driven. But that's injury. Yeah. I'm saying, listen. Listen, Steph's not a guy. Steph's not made out of titanium. With those ankles and his issue, unfortunately, I think he's sort of like the Phil Mickelson of golf. He could have been the face of the NBA. He just came along around the same time as LeBron was dominating the NBA. I think that the NBA after LeBron is going to have faces of the NBA, and it's going to be, for a short period of time, because I don't know how much long Steph can play at this level with his health concerns, his injury, issues. I don't even know how good that team's going to be, so you don't know how many nights they're going to be on television, and which is a big part of it. The NBA putting these teams on these Christmas Day, these high-profile matchups. We thought it was going to be Kawhi, right? We thought it was going to be Kawhi, but do we? Kawhi had the 1 year in Toronto.
Yeah.
And they face elimination now. They're going to have to win a game on the road against Dallas and then turn around and win one again. They're up against it the same way as the Lakers are. Do we feel a little bit like Kawhi was fraudulent? Not fraudulent, because he did what he did with the Raptors, but we're sort of like, okay, now this guy is equal to or greater. People were telling me that Kawhi was better
but that's
than LeBron.
People jumping the gun too fast. Like, you have to give him time. When he was on the Spurs, of course, an incredible player. You know, he goes to Toronto, wins. He should have stayed. He goes to the Clippers. It's just he doesn't, in my opinion, have that clutch factor yet. He'll give you multiple numbers a game. He's going to drop buckets on you. But that's the problem with the Clippers. When it gets to crunch time, him, PG, you have multiple people on that team who can make clutch shots. They just don't hit them. And that's the reason why you don't move to that next level, that LeBron level. That's going back to Steph, I feel like you can make an argument that he already has been the face of the NBA. You go back to 2017, 2016, the run that he had with the Warriors. He completely revolutionized the game of basketball. Now you have players, Dame Lillard, you have Trae Young, you got Donovan Mitchell, who could all shoot, way past the three-point line. And you have people abroad who are playing pickup games in China, everywhere, you know what I mean, trying to imitate Steph. So I think it's a no-brainer. And also to go back, Klay, he's still injured. If Klay comes back healthy, and even though it's going to be very difficult, we'll see what type of player he is. Golden State is going to be fine, in my opinion.
If they are, then, and LeBron steps away here in the next year or so, then Steph's got a couple of years to be the face of the NBA. But I think that the NBA is getting ready for regional faces of the NBA. Listen, Giannis, everybody said Giannis won 2 MVPs in a row. Mm-hmm. And he's not the face of the NBA.
Listen, let Giannis go to the Lakers or somebody. I guarantee you he's going to be up here way more. People are going to be talking about him, man. And let him. He's got that 3-point down a little bit. Let that get more consistent.
What about Trae Young?
Trae, I can definitely see him. He's very Steph Curry-like.
Yeah.
Very explosive. The floater is insane. He can create his own shot off the dribble, spot up. He can do everything. So I can definitely see him. And you know what? He has the attitude about him, which I love. I love that he's scrappy and he has the attitude of a winner. So I can definitely see it happening for Trae.
How about Luka?
Luka, yes, absolutely. But we name multiple people who can be there, who are in their early 20s.
I think those guys are all going to sort of share the responsibility of the face of the NBA. Whereas we had Magic and Bird, 2 faces, which worked out perfectly at that time. 2 coasts, you got Boston, LA, white, black. I mean, that was like the perfect storm for the NBA at that time. Both guys coming out of college had played each other for the national championship. You had Showtime versus the From the Farm. I mean, that storyline was like, honestly, probably written in Hollywood and then projected onto our NBA screens. And then you followed up with Michael, and then like the LeBron, Kobe era. I mean, to me, even Kobe was covered up by LeBron in my mind. But Kobe had his run, Shaq as well. But I just think that the next layer of the NBA is going to be about all of these young players. It won't be about one guy. I think they'll have to market all of these guys around the same time. And we'll see. Listen, a lot of young talent. And just to spin this back to home, this becomes possible in these 2 places, in Atlanta and Dallas, because they made a draft day trade that both teams won. I again, with the exception now, people pointing out to me, the Penny Hardaway, Chris Webber deal on draft night, very hard to go back to a trade 3 years later and have both teams go, I wouldn't change a thing.
Right. And I feel like the more seasons that pass and the more years, the more time that passes is going to solidify that point, because I don't see any of these 2 young brothers stopping at all at any time soon.
Yeah, no, I mean, everything, it all looks like it's heading the right direction. Look, the Hawks knocked off the Knicks in the first round.
Whatever.
And and you've got the Dallas Mavericks poised now to knock out the Los Angeles Clippers and Kawhi and playoff P.
Let's go, Mavs!
I'm pulling for him. There's no question about it. Hey, coming up on the other side of the break, Brandon Kravitz will join us. We'll talk about the NBA with him. We'll ask him who the future face or Faces of the NBA is. We'll get his thoughts on some of these College Football Hall of Fame inductees or potential inductees, and then the career of Mike Krzyzewski. Can we see another one like him? We'll do all that with Brandon Kravitz of In the Zone coming up next.
What does Mike Bianchi and the next commercial break have in common? They're both short.
Now listen here, Mr. Frodo. Don't get short with me.
More open mic after this.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine 96.9 The Game studios.
That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. We are FM 96.9 The Game, an iHeartRadio station. Touchdown! Boom!
This 96.9 The Game traffic report, sponsored by Root Air Conditioning, powered by Ferguson HVAC.
This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts.
Westbound I-4 remains slow into the area west of Highway 472 because of an accident blocking the left lane. Eastbound I-4 is already slow from US 27 past Osceola Polk Line Road and starting to build up eastbound between State Road 535 and Central Florida Parkway. And the right lane of the entrance ramp from I-4 to northbound Florida's Turnpike is also blocked. See traffic problems? Call the SafeTouchSecurity.com traffic tip line at 866-676-8477 from the Traffic Center of Daisy Ash.
Whether it's offering curbside or next-day delivery for online orders on over 160,000 parts or getting involved in their local communities, when it comes to serving you, Napa's motor never quits. That's Napa know-how.
It's June, and that means IDC's best offer ever is back. 5 years, zero interest financing on anything and everything.
Go.
We talked earlier in the week about, wrestling.
Just a little bit of wrestling.
That's why Mike refers to this if Brandon's one of the, wrestling guy. His walk-up music. Brandon Kravitz has walk-up music.
That's right.
We got his highlights playing on the Jumbotron right now.
That's it. Like there's some pyrotechnics going on in the studio right now. He's coming down the little ramp walkway they have. Brandon, how old are you? I mean, because I know that I'm older than you, but do you even remember a day where wrestling was not a big production, or is that what kind of got you hooked on it? Was that every show was pyrotechnics and stuff? You don't remember the days of the foldable chair? That's what people sat on. There's normally old ladies in the crowd at the Armory yelling at Jerry the King Lawler while he was wrestling. You don't remember those days. You're not that old.
No, I'm not. I'm 35, so those days are only slightly prior to me watching wrestling, because it's not like I watched it the day I was born. I started watching it really young, but by the time I started watching it, it was already a pretty big production. Not the pyro. That didn't come until I was almost a teenager, where they started filtering that into every show. I started watching it 1989. So by then, I mean, they were WrestleMania was at the Trump Plaza. It was a pretty big production at that point. So yes, I've always been accustomed to the pageantry of professional wrestling. I'm aware of that era that you talk about because I fancy myself a wrestling historian of sorts. But yes, that is what hooked me. Is oh my God, this is such a big deal. These guys are live comic book characters.
And I don't want to get too into it, but I just wanted to bring it up just to get your initial reaction. Braun Strowman. What's going on?
I'm shocked.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, you guys are talking about real life things that are happening right now?
Yes.
I'm so lost.
This is what I want to say real quick.
Adam's what are these? Are you just smashing together two words? I have no idea.
What'd you say?
Braun Strowman. It was just he was in a main event match just 17 days ago. And the WWE does this, I would say probably twice a year. There's this massive wave of cuts where they just release. It's kind of just picture, I'll put it in sports terms, picture week 2 of the preseason where all of a sudden half the roster's gone off these NFL teams. That happens twice a year in the WWE, but usually it's those wrestlers on the fringe or broadcasters. You're oh, I forgot about that guy or girl. They cut Braun Strowman yesterday, and he's one of their main event guys, which is rarely the case when they go through this wave of cuts. So it was a surprise. I guess the rumors were that he wasn't happy with where he was creatively. And now there's this other product that's owned by the Jags owner's son, Tony Khan, and they're spending a whole bunch of money on stars. So for the first time since WCW, these guys actually have another option. How about that for wrestling talk, Adam?
Okay, well, since we have you, and I actually saw a headline about it. Who's the guy that was on ESPN for the long? Adnan Burke, and then he was doing some wrestling thing. Then he's or he quit or something. Can you give me a backstory on that?
Yes, that was bizarre because all of a sudden the WWE made this really quick pivot to we need legitimate broadcasters and sports guys calling our product. So they got Adnan Virk to be the play-by-play guy for Monday Night Raw. That's a huge job in the WWE. And then they put Pat McAfee, who's that up and coming former football player. He's on Game Day and stuff like that. They put him on SmackDown, which airs on Fox now on Friday nights. But Adnan Virk, so that he's doing the play-by-play for Monday Night Raw. He was there for 2 weeks, and apparently he sucked at it. And he's a great broadcaster, brings legitimacy. He put a lot of work into it. But from what I've heard, it's just one of those things where you can be a good broadcaster. You can know how to call sports. Calling professional wrestling is a completely different animal because it's not real. So you're doing other things other than just calling the action. He didn't know the moves as well as he probably thought he did or that he sold the WWE on. And it just, didn't seem like a very good fit. They tried to make it seem like it was mutual. It probably wasn't, but it was something that really didn't work for either side.
It's like when they brought Dennis Miller into the broadcast booth.
Exactly. It's like Dennis Miller's super talented, but it's like, this is an awkward fit. We screwed up. Let's just, yes, it's exactly like that.
All right. That's all right. Well, to repay you guys is Brock. Was it Brock Strowman? What did you say?
Braun Strowman.
Braun, like the brawny paper towel,
man.
like the brawny paper towel guy. The paper towel guy got cut from the. Let's talk about some Formula One racing, fellas. How about that? You guys ready for that talk?
Oh, hey, am I losing my connection?
How about this? Okay, we'll pivot into something that I think we all know a little something about, a little college basketball. Mike Krzyzewski announces that he's going to take a swan song season next year and then be replaced by John Shire on the bench at Duke. And with the exception of some names that were sent to me, Mark Few at Gonzaga, obviously Gino Auriemma at UConn, and then who's the other? Jay Wright at Villanova. Will we ever see? I mean, first of all, 40 years. I'm willing to say that we'll never ever see that again at a program. But like even a 20-year run, 25-year run in college basketball, and certainly not in college football. I mean, those days are long gone for a bunch of different reasons. The pressure now that's built in to winning at college basketball and college football, the amount of money you can make in 5 years today versus what you were probably making 45 years ago. I mean, we'll never see this kind of run ever again, this tenure in college sports, right?
Well, I think we will. It'll be more uncommon than what we've seen now, because we're seeing it from a number of different coaches. Jim Boeheim, Roy Williams did it. Coach K did it. But Bill Self has a lifetime contract, so he's not going anywhere. You mentioned Mark Few. I would imagine that he's going to be around as long as he wants. So you might see it, but rather than there being like 5, 6, 7 guys in college basketball that fit that bill, we're probably only going to have 1 or 2. So I think it still happens. It's just going to become less and less common, because you're right. That's just not the world that we live in anymore in sports. We cannot wait to fire somebody and then hire somebody else. So keeping somebody around for 25 years just doesn't really fit the mold these days. Plus, you have to imagine that one of the reasons Coach K left, one of the reasons that Roy Williams says, you know what, I'm out, is the changing world of college basketball. You guys talk about it on your show all the time. The way that the transfer portal has taken over the sport. These guys already had to deal with the headache of one and doners. They gave in on that, and now they've got that plus the transfer portal and everything about it. They're like, look, I'm rich. I'm 75 years old. I don't need this. I'm going to step away. So I think all of those changes kind of go into that. The sport is changing, and the legends that we've seen aren't going to be around for much longer.
Mike Krzyzewski didn't want to have to recruit against the overtime elite league too. You know, like I got to pitch under the table money, or these guys could just give you $1 million on top. I can't compete with that. I got to get that guy. Get me out of here. It's not going to be fun for me. Hey, something else that we were talking about, and I would like to consider you a guy who loves the NBA. I mean, you've done stuff with the Magic. We're talking about the draft day trade of Trae Young and Luka Doncic, and how both of those teams won that trade. And very rarely can you find a trade like that. People pointed out Chris Webber for Penny Hardaway. And then we kind of spiraled that into when LeBron leaves, faces of the NBA or a face of the NBA. What do you think happens in the future? Is the NBA sort of rely on one guy, or is this going to be kind of a regional, hey, here's your 2 guys in the Southeast, here's a star up here in the North, here's a star or 2 out West, versus kind of what we have now where LeBron in every single big-time matchup they could possibly put him on TV, they'll put him on TV. Do you think that the NBA will go to regional faces of the NBA post-LeBron?
No, that's just not the way that the league is built. I think, and even right now, like in the LeBron era, there's always been somebody else. There was the end of Kobe's career. There was Paul Pierce, the guys with the Pistons, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. So it's not like LeBron has done it all by himself, but he is that one singular face. And when they move on from LeBron, then it's time for Zion to step up. He's got to be the next guy that steps into that role. They are already putting him on national TV left, right, and center. I've seen more Pelicans games in the last year than I've seen in my entire life. So they've already kind of made that switch. He's already producing, but they've got to turn that into actual wins in New Orleans, and then he'll be that guy. The NBA has always been fortunate enough to be able to transition to that next superstar. You go back to Larry and Magic kind of split in the 80s. That transitioned perfectly into the Michael Jordan era. The Jordan era transitioned perfectly into the Kobe Bryant era. And then the Kobe era transitioned perfectly into the LeBron James era. And now what the NBA needs, because we see it happening right in front of our very eyes in this playoff series, the LeBron era is ending, and they need Zion to step up and be that next guy. And then you have all the other ancillary stars, that regional stuff that you talk about can help support that one guy. But the NBA needs that one guy if they're going to be super successful. That's just the way the league is built.
Doesn't the NBA then need to facilitate Zion's move to New York?
Well, I mean, New York just got booted from the playoffs too. I hear you editorializing, Kelly. No, we don't need him in New York. You might need to get him somewhere else other than New Orleans, but I don't know that the Knicks are the best option out there.
They're in the playoffs at least. You know, maybe he'll be surrounded by playoff caliber guys, and then
playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, heck,
the Pelicans would have been in the playoffs if they were in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, all right. We're no conference shaming on this program. We're not going to conference shame in the NBA. Brandon Kravitz, what do you got coming up on In the Zone this afternoon?
Fun-filled afternoon. We go live at 3. I've got Sam Monson, who is a Scottish NFL analyst. So if you love NFL talk and you love a good Irish or Scottish accent, I'm actually not sure exactly where he's from overseas, but you can enjoy that at 3:35 today, as we'll break down everything from the pressure that Tua's under to the expectations put on the table for Tom Brady and the Bucs. So looking forward to that this afternoon.
Cool. Worldwide. We're going worldwide.
That's right.
There you go. Brandon Kravitz, appreciate you, my man.
Thanks, guys. I'm out.
All right. There's no walkout music.
There's no walkout.
In wrestling.
It's only walk in.
Hey, coming up on the other side of the break, we'll hit a little sound off the notable notes and quotable quotes from the world of sports. Coming up next.
More open mic up next.
Coward. And wrong.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the sound off today. You know, we had Kravitz on last segment, so we have to push it back just a little bit, but we still have all the sound that we need to talk about from yesterday. All the happenings in sports right here on Sound Off.
Sound off. Sound off. I believe in working smarter, not harder. So if it's something easy like this, a legalized bank robbery, I got to do it. I have to. My nickname is Money for a reason. I worked extremely hard for years and years to get to a certain level, a level to where we can start calling everything an event.
That's right. Money Mayweather talking that talk right before he goes up this weekend, which you will be at, Adam. Do you have anything in mind that you think is going to happen this weekend?
I feel bad now. I feel like I'm getting robbed. He's like, I'm going to rob this bank. And I'm like, looking at my I'm technically that it's my birthday present. So, but yeah. But what do I think is going to happen? I think Floyd Mayweather is going to outbox Logan Paul, who has almost zero boxing experience. He has no amateur record. He's fought in one professional fight in which he lost to another guy from YouTube, KSI. And Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer of my lifetime.
Right. I'm thinking in my head, I wonder if they're going to do some sort of theatrics in the ring. You know what I mean?
So I'll feel, to be honest now, if they get in there and like Logan Paul hits him and he pretends like he's hurt and he falls to the ground, you know, just to add some drama, I'll be upset with that.
You want it clean.
I want it. Yeah, listen, it's an exhibition. I get that. Floyd's not boxing, you know, a professional boxer per se, but I want Floyd to, like if he takes a dive, you know, goes down once or twice just to get, you know, the YouTube fans in the building all excited. I don't want any of that. I with all due respect to Kravitz and you and everybody else who, you know, obviously knows who Braun Strowman is, and I do not want this to be a wrestling event.
So you don't want Jake Paul coming on the side of the ring mid-round trying to get
with
Floyd's
brass knuckles
attention,
or something like that? Yeah. No. If I honestly, like now you have me afraid.
No, you know, that's just me playing around. These are two warriors at the end of the day, even though, like you said, Logan doesn't really do this. But, you know, Money Mayweather, even though he's an entertainer, he takes that ring seriously. So I don't think that's going to happen.
And I would hope that. Because I've seen him in exhibition fights against, I guess his fight with Conor McGregor was a real fight. But then he had an exhibition against a Japanese kickboxer, which I
forgot about that.
Oh, my God, he bounced that guy around the ring.
Yeah.
I want to see that. That's the Floyd I want to see. That, hey, listen, he's got all these advantages. You take advantage of that, and then you do what Floyd can do, and that's probably, you know, pull and shoot probably about 150 times in a row against Logan Paul, and it should be easy work. It should be an easy bank robbery. I just hope it's not. You know, I'm not the one holding the bag at the end.
Sound off. Sound off.
I've got nothing to update, Rob, on that situation, and you guys all know how we feel about it.
Do you expect him to be here? It is mandatory.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see come Tuesday.
It's Matt LaFleur talking about Aaron Rodgers still not showing up to OTAs. Does this show that it is officially over AR-12 in Green Bay?
Well, I guess right now is the voluntary, like, this is that you don't have to show up to these OTAs, and they're asking him, hey, like when it's mandatory, what if he doesn't show up then? And like, oh, we'll deal with it then. I get the sense that Aaron Rodgers ain't playing. He does not want to be there, and he's not going to be there unless some of his concerns are addressed. And if the team doesn't address them, then I don't suspect Aaron Rodgers is. I mean, first of all, even if he's there for mandatory, if he's not there for you know what you have. This isn't a guy's in the league for 2 or 3 years, and you still need to kind of evaluate where. Here's an idea. You better bring Jordan Love in there and get him ready to go.
Hello.
All right, because there's a reason why you guys drafted him. Aaron Rodgers may be calling your bluff. Okay, you want to draft a quarterback in the first round? Here you go. Go ahead and get him ready. Go ahead and play him. And if you felt comfortable in what Jordan Love brings to the table, seeing how you drafted him in the first round, would you be sweating Aaron Rodgers so hard right now?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not.
Today is not a great day. I wish we would have, finished the year on a much better note. But I feel like there's so much hope in the Celtics going forward.
It's an honor to be trusted with this responsibility, and then to get a chance to learn from and work alongside Danny all of this time.
It's Danny Ainge, the first clip, and the second one, Brad Stevens, yesterday, taking over president of basketball operations for the Celtics. Does Brad Stevens deserve this boost up from the sidelines to the front office?
Okay, so I don't know Brad Stevens personally, but from everything that I've gathered from any media members or anybody who's ever been around Brad Stevens, is he is a super smart guy.
Mm-hmm. I always hear that he's a great basketball mind.
And you know what? I think people in the Celtics organization recognize that. I think the stressors of coaching a team like the Celtics, where the only option is to win titles, I mean, becomes a lot. That pressure is less in the front office. You get a little bit more run. Right. And I think he may be the right guy for that job in the future, or at least they believe that. And then for him, you know, it's another challenge. And I think there's guys like that who like new challenges. And, you know, he's kind of unlucky in Boston when you think about some of the things that he had to endure. I mean, was it Gordon Hayward's on the court for 4 minutes and he blows his leg out? You know, that's a tough break. That was supposed to be the acquisition that pushed them over the top to get them to the NBA Finals, to get them to compete for a championship. Didn't work out that way for him, but he still found a home there. And from everything that I understand, or at least have heard and or read about him, is that he's a very intelligent guy, really great basketball mind, and the Celtics are hoping to use that to move this team in the right direction in the future.
Sound off. That's the sound off for today, ladies and gentlemen. Adam, we got the Bulldog coming up, don't we?
Looking forward to seeing what we got to see how Mike's dinner went last night.
That's right.
See how his dinner. Get the juicy details, little TMZ, a little. Listen, I watch a lot of trash TV. Trina and I love ourselves a little.
Stop it.
Oh my God, 90 Day Fiance. Let's find out how season 1, episode 1 of Dinner with the Ex went with Mike Bianchi. Coming up next, right here on The Game.
Bianchi's got to get a quick workout in.
Tom, you are.
Open mic. We'll be back.
Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
Back here on Open Mic on this Thursday morning, Adam Reardon, Kelly Velez, and now the namesake of the program, Mike Bianchi on Open Mic, live from New York City.
New York.
Remember those old El Paso? It was wasn't it like salsa? Was it like a salsa?
Oh yeah, old El Paso salsa, tortilla, tortilla
shells and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was about like the salsa, like, and you know, they're like eating salsa around a campfire, and they read the back of the label. They go, "This salsa was made in New York City." New York City. Get a rope.
Right. My girlfriend, she lived in New York for a lot of years. She loves New York, so she's one of those who everything that is in New York is better than it is in Florida. You know, like the bagels are so much better here, which they are. I will admit the bagels are better, but like
It's the water,
everything,
Mike.
yeah, everything's better in New York. So like Kelly Velez, everything's better in New York except the Knicks.
Well, I mean, time out now. What basketball team in the state are we comparing them to? One got swept out of the playoffs, and the other one didn't make it in. Hold on, maybe things are better in New York.
Yeah, we have one bad tanking team and one hit wonder that got swept out of the playoffs.
There we go, Mike. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yes.
You teased it yesterday. Dinner last night. Dinner with the dinner with the exes.
Yeah, went out to dinner with it was my daughter's graduation celebration, so I've not met the ex-wife's husband, Jim, all right? And, I'd heard some horror stories about he was jealous and he didn't really like me, and, it mainly came from my daughters, all right, who are, they're a little bit of drama queens, I'll admit that. So I get to dinner last night. Nicest guy in the world. Nice guy. Had great conversation. He brought one of his daughters, who was just 12 years old, very precocious 12-year-old. Yeah, it was a really good time. Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, look
had a great time. Yeah, no, don't really have any good stories to tell of awkward moments or anything. The only awkward moment was when the check came. All right.
Oh.
Yeah, it was one of these. It was this fancy Italian restaurant on the water, and when the check comes, actually he said, "Hey, can we split the check from the beginning?" All right, and then they came up afterwards and said, "Oh, we can't split the check," and I was like, "Why not?"
Yeah, wait, what? What do you mean you can't split the check?
Yeah, I don't know.
What do
Yeah,
you
I don't
suck
know
at
what they
math
do.
or something? You just divide it by 2. Okay, it's a neat trick. Hold on.
Had a good time, though. Had a good time.
Oh, what?
Very pleasant surprise.
So now, okay, because
Adam, we all know that we like we like to get along with our exes and all of that, right?
Well, we would all love to. Let me say this: that honestly, the evening you sounds fantastic to me. So at the end of the day, did you end up paying for the check, or did they find a way to split it, or?
No, they split it. They split it. He paid for his daughter and my ex-wife, and then I paid for me, my girlfriend, and my 2 daughters.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Wait. So shouldn't you have paid for one daughter, and then your ex-wife paid for the other daughter?
Yeah, but you know how that works, Adam. Yeah. I'm sure when the weddings come, we're not going to be splitting the wedding costs either, right?
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking you probably look across and go, "Come on! I mean, all those alimony, you can't pay for one of these dinners. Come on now."
You pay for college, you pay for this, you pay for that. Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like it's
half
good.
of the dinner.
There you go.
One daughter.
Come on now. All right, so it sounds like you had a great night. And I was looking to sell this as like a reality show franchise.
I wish I had a great story to tell, but I really don't.
Well, hey, you may have made a friend out of this.
Plus, somebody might be listening. It'll get back to them.
No, I know. I believe me. I know how that. I'll never forget the time I told the story about how I hated going to my in-laws for Thanksgiving because my ex-mother-in-law would turn the TV off. Like during Thanksgiving,
like during dinner, yeah.
But there's NFL games going on, and I said I was like on the air, and they were like, I hate going over there because I said this year I'm putting my foot down. I'm gonna walk back over there and turn the TV on, and it got back to her, and I was in the doghouse big time over that.
I've had that happen too. In fact, it happened with my ex-wife. Her mother and I get along great. All right, we still talk all the time, and so. It was, you know how there's these national days that we sometimes celebrate. It was National Ex-Wife's Day or something, National Ex-Spouse Day, I think it was. So in my column in the Orlando Sentinel, she gets the Orlando Sentinel. So in my column, I said, I did the quote of the day, in honor of National Ex-Spouses Day. And then I said, do you know why divorces cost so much? And the answer is because they're worth it, all right? So I put that joke in my column, and she was so up. She goes, you should not be putting things like that in your column. She goes, that's taking a shot at my my daughter, Dawn. And I go, it was just a joke.
Yeah.
She was very angry.
Yeah, sometimes we got to be careful. I mean, because we go live on the air. We go live. And you needed your editor to help you out. Like, Mike, you sure you want to put this one in here? You sure? All right.
No, they did. And Mike said, yes.
Yeah, we'll let that one fly. We're going to let that one fly. We'll let it fly. Hey, Mike, real fast before we get into the blast. We're watching the NBA playoffs, and the Dallas Mavericks are on the brink of eliminating the LA Clippers, and talking about Luka Doncic, and then Trae Young and Atlanta just moved on in their playoff series. And I started saying, is that the greatest trade in NBA history? Both of those teams traded in a draft night trade and got franchise players. And I don't think either of those teams right now, with the player that they have in the cities that they're located in, with the development that they've gotten, I don't think either one of those two teams would look at the other team and go, I'd like to swap back. Is that the greatest NBA trade, or maybe even sports trade we've ever seen?
When you think about it, yeah, because for a while it looked like that Dallas got the best end of that trade, but now that you've seen what Trae Young is doing in the playoffs, the guy is unflappable. With the Garden crowd is cursing him out every time he touches the ball. So yeah, it's been a great trade, and again to localize it. It just makes you wonder what would happen if the Magic, all the draft picks they've had during their multiple rebuilds, if they could have just they couldn't get one guy. They've not got one guy yet like that. I mean, the closest probably they came was Victor Oladipo, but he's had his ups and downs even since he left the Magic. So yeah, it just goes to show the luck of the draw in the lottery. That's why I'm against tanking, because there are no sure things when you tank.
The only other trade that anybody brought up to us that made sense in regards to, hey, that was a great trade for both teams, the Magic were actually a part of their draft day trade when they traded Chris Webber after acquiring their second straight #1 overall pick to Sacramento for the rights to Penny Hardaway. That worked out for both teams as well.
Oh, no question. No question. Although, in hindsight, you wonder what would have happened if it had been Webber and Shaq together, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that the thought there was, all right, we've already got a big man presence here. Let's get a good guard that can handle the ball and score as well. And you see where that, the thought behind that. Would you say that Chris Webber had a better career in the NBA than Penny Hardaway?
Yeah, but only because Penny Hardaway got injured. I mean, his last days with the Magic when he hurt his knee, and he was never really the same after that. And where did he go from the Magic? He went to Phoenix, I think.
Yeah.
Goes to Phoenix, and yeah, when he injured his knee, he was never really the same. And yeah, Webber had I think everybody would agree that Webber had a better NBA career than Penny Hardaway, would you?
Yeah, I think we sort of said that, and because of the injuries, Penny, we never realized his full career potential, if you will. Let's take 10 seconds for legal identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach, FM 96.9 The Game, the home of Orlando City Soccer Club.
You feel that?
I can feel it.
We're about to blast off.
Just hook it to my veins!
It's time for the blast.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for The Blast, brought to you by Frank Gage Services. When you have a plumbing or electrical problem, you need help now. Go to frankgageservices.com. Open mic Open mic thought-provoking daily poll. It was announced yesterday that famed Coach K has decided to retire after this coming season. Is he the GOAT college basketball coach? Yes, he's the GOAT, or no, not exactly. Adam.
In my lifetime, no question about it. Somebody older than me will say John Wooden, but man, I grew up. I mean, he's been at Duke for 40 years.
That blew my mind.
I'm 43, so I don't know a world without Mike Krzyzewski at Duke, really. And then what he's accomplished there. I mean, and I got to shoot threes in Cameron Indoor Stadium with a size 4 Tango soccer ball one time. So I'm a little bit partial to Mike Krzyzewski and Duke.
Well, John Wooden did win 10 national championships to Mike Krzyzewski's 5, but it's so much harder to win national championships in today's college basketball world. Obviously, the NCAA tournament has been expanded, over the last, decades. 64 teams now. When Wooden was coaching, 16 teams? So much easier to win national championships. Many more programs in today's college basketball world are competitive. Hell, I remember back in the 70s and 60s, even the 60s, the Gator basketball program, they had an assistant football coach coaching their basketball team. So yes, Mike Krzyzewski with his 5 national championships and 4 Final Fours, he is the GOAT over John Wood. Yes.
With 82% of the vote, yes, he is the GOAT. Open mic supplemental poll number 1. Who do you think will win the 2021 Florida Cup set for July 25th and the 28th right here at Campbell World Stadium in Orlando? Arsenal, Inter Milan, Everton, or Millonarios FC? Adam.
This has got to be an Adam Reardon question.
I know this is. I honestly, I didn't even know this was happening.
I told Mike asked before. He was like, Adam came up with that question, and I was like, actually, I came up with it, but it was for you. It was a softball for you.
Yeah. Well, the hard part is, these tournaments happen over the summer, so they don't always bring their best players, because they're sort of resting. But of the teams you mentioned. Inter Milan probably had the best season as they won Serie A this year. So I'll go with Arsenal.
Nice.
I'm going local. Orlando City's going to win this tournament. Come on, Lions, win this thing. Send those Premier League teams back to Europe with their tail between their legs. Orlando City's winning this tournament.
With 51%, Arsenal wins this one. Hey!
I actually said Arsenal because I think it's the one team anybody would recognize from around here.
Absolutely. Open mic supplemental poll number 2. Yesterday, it was announced that Brad Stevens assumed the role of president of basketball operations for the Celtics as Danny Ainge stepped down from his position. Does he deserve the upgrade from the sideline to the office? Yes, he earned it, or no, he doesn't deserve it. Mike.
Wow, that's a tough one. I actually like the idea of coaches, if they're good at it, if they're also the GM. So I'm going to go, yes, he deserves it. I mean, he hasn't won any titles with Boston, but Brad Stevens is considered a smart guy. He's, very astute. He obviously, turned Butler into a national championship contender in college. I'm going to go, yes, he deserves it.
Yeah, no, everything that I've heard about Brad Stevens is he's a really smart guy, super intelligent, and, maybe can better serve the organization in that capacity as well. So, that's a decision that clearly the organization has made, and Brad Stevens obviously wanted the job, and Danny Ainge, And Danny Ainge has been there a long time and made a lot of moves. Remember, at one point they had like more first-round draft picks than any other team. Just kind of got unlucky. That franchise got a little unlucky when they got guys like Gordon Hayward, which was a big-time get a couple of years ago, and he blows out his leg 5 seconds into his career there with Boston. So that was tough.
With 58% of the vote, they say, no, he does not deserve this opportunity. Open mic supplemental poll number 3. The National Football Foundation announced the 2022 College Football Hall of Fame ballot. Who's your favorite out of these notable names? Reggie Bush, Champ Bailey, Andrew Luck, Marshawn Lynch, Mike.
Wow. So, give me those again.
Reggie Bush, Champ Bailey, Andrew Luck, or Marshawn Lynch?
Who's my favorite? Well, the best. The best of those is, in my opinion, best college player of that is Reggie Bush. I mean, the guy was breathtaking in college. I thought Reggie Bush, he was decent in the NFL, but I thought he was going to be an NFL star. Yeah. Reggie Bush, to me, he was in the same vein. Like I saw Peter Warrick a lot in college when he played for Florida State. Just a breathtaking athlete. Every time he touched the ball, you thought he was going to take it the distance. He made people miss. He was elusive. He was lightning fast. Reggie Bush, without question here.
By the way, you mentioned Peter Warrick. He's also on the ballot as a first-time nominee. And so, he's on the. Listen, I'm looking at. By the way, 99 players are on the are nominees for the college football playoff. Hey, let me give you some names of guys that had been on in the past that didn't make it. All right, as college football Hall of Famers. He mentioned one in Champ Bailey, Marvin Harrison. With what he did at Syracuse. Are you kidding me? Marvin Harrison is not already in the College Football Hall of Fame. Tony Gonzalez. Julius Peppers at North Carolina isn't in the Hall of Fame. Apparently got passed up. And then Rashaan Salam. Here's my rule. If you won the Heisman Trophy, that means that you're the best player in college football that year. That automatically makes you one of the greatest college football players of all time. And hence, you shouldn't be missing out on any Hall of Fame ballots and get passed up if you won a Heisman Trophy. That makes no sense.
We could have done an all-Florida poll here. I'm looking at the list now. We've got Brad Culpepper, Gator defensive tackle, Ken Dorsey.
Bryant McKinney, I think, is on that list as well, the great tackle from that 2001 team.
Josh Heupel's on the list? Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking at all these different names. Larry
Marvin
Coker.
Jones, FSU linebacker.
Wait, Marvin Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, let me say this. If you're my age or a little bit older, and you remember, Marvin Jones was to college football what Ray Lewis was to the NFL at that line. When Shade Tree was, and listen, that was his name, Shade Tree, because he was so big. He was like a shade tree. That guy was so scary way back when for Florida State, and just a dominant defensive. They're guys. First of all, they should just let the whole ballot in. All these guys are really, really good.
By the way, yeah, Kelly, we need to do an all-Florida version of this tomorrow. You know who else is on the list? Eric Rett.
Woo! First of all, Eric, and let me say this about Eric Rett. Eric Rett, the most underappreciated player in Florida Gator. I don't know, maybe Chris Leak is now, because he gets overshadowed by Tebow. But Eric Rett is a guy. You look at what he did rushing and receiving at Florida, and Judd Davis loves to tell me this story about how Eric Rett believes he could kick like a 60-yard field goal.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he believes I can do that. I can do that. And then there's that picture of Eric Rett. You ever see the picture of Eric Rett dragging Rich Tootin around on that little sled? You ever see that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. By the way, how sad is this, Adam Reardon? Howard Schnellenberger not eligible, but Larry Coker's on the list.
I said earlier, he's the one Kane that don't put him in. Don't you dare put him in to the Hall of Fame.
You mentioned that before. Let me reel this in, man.
Okay.
We're talking overall, 43% of the vote said Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
All right, so they agree with Mike. Open mic supplemental poll number 4. Are you surprised that the NFL has been practicing, quote-unquote, race norming, which made it harder for black retirees to qualify for medical coverage? Yes or no, Adam?
I really, can we couch this one and get back into it tomorrow? Because this is something I wanted to delve
really
a little further into.
We can do that.
And then we'll couch this one and then we'll bring it back tomorrow, because this is an issue that I'm just learning about, to be honest with you, and I don't want to waste it, to be honest with you.
Well, hold that down until tomorrow, all right, Mike?
Okay, bye.
All right, open mic. Would you rather poll? Would you rather be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame, or NBA Hall of Fame? Mike.
Well, first of all, there's no NBA Hall of Fame.
Well, I couldn't fit Naismith Memorial, okay? Friend.
Hoops Hall of Fame. That would be the Hoops Hall of Fame.
I'm going to go. Give them to me again.
The College Football Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame, or NBA Hall of Fame?
Oh, definitely. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, one of my biggest dreams is to be a lead guitarist in a rock and roll band. I obviously never learned how to play the guitar, but I would love to be a lead guitarist in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band.
I'll say the NFL Hall. I feel like the NFL Hall of Famers can parlay that into like prolonging their career. You wear that gold jacket around, and that means that. Whereas there's people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that don't belong there, and that even though they're in there,
like Ringo Starr.
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna say.
Wait, why doesn't Ringo Starr deserve to be in the?
It was a big conversation. We'll talk about it later. With 49% of the vote, the Pro Football Hall of Fame wins that one, folks. You already know it's the Blast, brought to you by Frank A. Services. A live operator is waiting for you, and a licensed plumber is ready to help today with a solution to your problems fast. That's the Frank Gay way. FrankAServices.com.
Mike, are you here tomorrow?
I am here. I'm not in studio tomorrow, but I'll be calling in tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. I mean, knowing you the way I know you, I figured, Spirit Airlines flies at 6 a.m. I mean, you're going to save a couple bucks on the flight home and stuff. Sorry, I can't get on that early call anymore because I got to be at the airport at 4:30 a.m. That's the cheapest flight. I was looking at flights last night for the same reason.
See you guys tomorrow.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Mike Bianchi would be open mic without Mike Bianchi. Coming up next. What do we get? We'll get back into the
terms of the Clippers, there's literally no reason. There's zero reason for you to lose this series. You know, you're fully healthy. You got multiple superstars on there that can make shots in big time situations, and you're just not getting it done. And the thing is, you're not locking down the number one player on that court. He's killing you every game. You would think some doubles would come up every now and again. No, they just leave him on an island, and they're getting killed by Luka.
Nothing they can do there. I remember, what was he quoted? Patrick Beverly was trying to D him up in the first couple of games, and he was embarrassing Patrick Beverly. Isn't Patrick Beverly like kind of like a defensive specialist? Isn't that what he does?
That's what he tries to label himself, you know. But when you look at it,
not for long.
But that's the thing. When you look at the matchups, he doesn't win a lot of them. He's just annoying. He's like one of those really annoying. It's like a gnat, you know, like one of those players. Remember, like Lance Stevenson when he used to like blow in LeBron's ear, like that sort of scrappy defensive guy, right? But when it comes to overall, no, because you ask me, I would much rather double Luka and have someone else beat me than Luka dropping 38, 40 a game and running out of here with what is it, like a 5-point win?
Yeah,
every time down.
Well, and you know the weird part about that series right there is the home team is 0 so far in the series. Now they go back to Dallas, and the Mavs have a chance to close out the Clippers. If you had to bet on one of those two teams to win Game 6, you'd still bet on the Clippers, though, right?
I think I'm betting on the Clippers.
Yeah. Whereas LeBron without Anthony Davis, do we feel like the Lakers could win without Anthony Davis? The truth is
no.
But they can't win without him. They can't even win when he doesn't play very well. So they need Anthony Davis, and they need a good Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, nobody else on that roster has shown us anything that is going to help contribute to LeBron to win this series.
Because that's the thing. He came out. You could see him taking free throws before the game when they lost last time, right? Of course, he's not going to play that game, but they're trying. They're trying to get him to that point. You know, you got a couple days that pass, and right now I believe he is a game-time decision for tonight. But even if he does play, he's not going to be 100%, at least in my opinion, right? So if he does play, what sort of Anthony Davis are we going to see? Is he going to be as aggressive as he was in Game 2 and Game 3 to give him those wins? I don't think so. So even if he does come back, I still feel like they're behind the 8 ball going into this matchup.
Yeah, we'll look forward to it over the next couple of days because the NBA is sitting around right now. I'm sure that Adam Silver's in the office going, please, at least give us a Game 7 with these guys. The last thing we need is Kawhi, LeBron, Steph's not in the playoffs. You know, we talked a little bit earlier about the faces of the NBA. They're going to have to fast forward to the faces of the NBA very quickly.
You think about it, maybe this would be the evolution or the step up to, you know, what we were talking about. Now, instead of having one face, you have these multiple faces, and there's a whole bunch of them in this playoff run, you know? So I feel like that'll be kind of a poetic way to get rid of that regime and bring in the new age.
The graphics department's got to get to work here over the next couple of days because they probably had some LeBron, you know, LeBron promos lined up throughout the playoffs. Well, if LeBron, and then we got these Kawhi ones lined up. Well, you ain't going to be able to use either one of those if those two superstars don't carry their team to 2 straight victories here in the playoffs. Coming up next, Mark Daniels in the building. He will hold down the bridge with Kelly Velez. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Continue to listen to the bridge right here on The Game.
Mark Daniels joins Mike Bianchi on the bridge next.
The weekend beach getaway for all my fellow Orlandoans. I'm talking about Hard Rock Hotel, Daytona Beach. This place is awesome. Just an hour's drive from downtown Orlando, but it's like you're driving into a Caribbean resort. There's a spa on site. There's a health club on site. The beach is right in front of you. They have a resort pool with bars and restaurants overlooking the pool and the ocean. They have a DJ during the day that makes the pool experience festive and fun. They have a band shell at night with live music. Again,